Well, here is our week of pantry cooking. Well, as close as I could get anyway. So, day one was easy. We made fried rice. So, we have pork fried rice with peas and carrots, obviously a can, make my life easy, and rice, soy sauce, Worcester, salt, pepper, and a little bit of powdered ginger. Now, the pork was actually that little tiny end piece from that big pork loin we bought at Walmart when we went shopping. Didn't see any reason to put one little tiny piece of pork in the freezer in a bag by itself. So handy little tip though, if you're going to make fried rice at home, cook the rice, put it in the fridge, and then put it all together when it's cold. The rice stays all separated, it doesn't get all clumpy and gummy or just not good. It worked out great. I was actually pretty happy with it. It tasted fabulous, by the way. You can do vegetarian, just different kinds of veggies. You can add a scrambled egg if you don't have any ground beef or, in this case, pork or chicken. We were really happy with it. Came out great. No leftovers, which is one of the things I'm seriously working on. We don't want leftovers. So, used up some rice, used up a can, used up some condiments. Perfect pantry meal if you, well, even if you don't have any meat, use up some canned veggies. Comes out great, and you don't have to worry about wastage, spoilage, things like that. Now, day two, when we get in here, we started making our pasta sauce. Now, when we make sauce, we don't use a full pound of ground beef. It's maybe half a pound, could be up to 3/4. I just basically put it in my hand and say, yeah, that looks like enough. Put it on the plastic wrap and wrap it up. We are still using onions and garlic from the garden last year, so we need to use those up. Every now and then you do find some that they haven't gone bad, but they've just kind of shriveled up inside. You know, they're, I don't know, what do you call it, shell? Inside the actual peel of the veggie. Not a big deal. That happens when you store veggies. Now, when we make our pasta sauce, we usually have pasta the first day. And then either the next day or the day after that, we'll make chili out of it. And then if we have enough chili, we'll mess around. We'll use, chili mac, our own quote-unquote hamburger helper. This case, though, we didn't. It was just the perfect amount. Now, also a good way to use up your pantry items. We used a can of the tomato sauce and a can of the tomatoes that we bought when we had that really wicked sale last fall when we went to No Frills when they were like 99 cents a can. Because as I've told you before, I can't make tomato sauce for 99 cents a jar. So if I can get it for 99 cents a can, I'm going to get it for 99 cents a can. Yep, there's the tomatoes, and here comes the tomato sauce. Now, there was one day, by the way, before we get going, that I did forget to film, and that was Wednesday. Because Wednesday, I got off work late. It was a madhouse for me. I came running downstairs, and I just piled through dinner. We just made simple pork cutlet sandwiches on Wednesday. Those are those little pork tenderloins that I went specifically on that flyer day to go and get. Basically, you just cut them in about an inch thick disc, and then you kind of bang them out with a rolling pin or whatever you have. I breaded ours with a little bit of milk, a little bit of breadcrumbs, a little bit of flour, standard dredge, I guess. Fried them up, made some great sandwiches. They tasted fabulous, just so you know. Now, sauce was done. Now, when I made that sauce, basil, oregano from our pantry, no salt because I used canned tomato sauce and canned tomatoes, and they usually have enough salt in them. And I added some peppers that we had in the freezer as well, just kind of use it up. I did put some pepper in the sauce though because I kind of like pepper. Not so much though that Fred, it's too warm for him. He doesn't do heat, we know this. Simple penne pasta. It was, a cheater dinner. It worked well for us. Also on that night, what I did, no, wait a minute, that was the next night. I also soaked the beans for the chili. For some reason, I'm getting my days mixed up. It was a busy week. Sorry, guys. But Tuesday's dinner, pasta. Alrighty, now we are moving into Thursday. So I had soaked the kidney beans on Wednesday night. I kind of realized afterwards that I didn't soak enough. I let those cook before I started work. They took, oh gosh, I don't know. I can't remember. Kidney beans do take a little bit longer. I know they went for at least an hour. I'll have to look that one up for you and I'll share it. And we have the rest of our tomato sauce. And now for our chili, what I add is cumin, paprika, and chili powder and pepper. That's usually it. Now I did not add any salt until later on when I thought I needed a little bit, because of course we're using that jarred tomato sauce. Jarred tomato sauce has salt. I didn't show you what it looked like after I put the beans in, but that was about it. Oh yeah, that little jar there, that was the last of a little bit of actual pizza sauce that I had that I needed to use up. Kind of forgot to tell you about that one. Anyway, the chili came out great. We didn't have any leftovers. I could have used a few more beans, but hey, me and dried beans, I have a hard time actually measuring those. I keep thinking I'm going to end up with more and they'll swell even bigger. On to Friday, we made barbecue meatballs. Now, I kind of made the barbecue sauce the same way we did before. So I used one of my jars of Victorian barbecue sauce. We added some tomato paste, and then I added the spices. So paprika, chili sauce, Worcester sauce, as you can see, garlic and onion. And of course I had to add a little bit extra water to thin it out a little bit. Now the meatballs that we're going to be using are those cheater meatballs from M&M's. And I know, cheater meatballs, but if you're going to let them cook all day, believe it or not, those frozen M&M meatballs, it works really well. They don't fall apart, nothing like that. What I'm kicking myself for, though, on this dinner is that I should have came down and put them on keep warm earlier than I did. These cooked for about 9 hours. I probably really should have only put them on low for about 7. My own fault, but then again, too, if they were thawed out, nowhere near that amount of time. The meatballs, they're going to go into this crock pot frozen. And we still have half a bag left, so of course we're going to make some more later on. Maybe some marinara meatballs. I don't know yet. But they came out really, really good. Crock pots seriously are our friends, I'm telling you. Now, to go with the meatballs, I kind of made some quote-unquote French fries. So all I did with the potatoes is I cleaned some, cut them all up, and I put them in my big round steamer. I'll actually link that for you guys down below, because to be honest, when you're doing quick cooking and you need to get dinner on the table, a steamer, fabulous piece of hardware for things like potatoes. It took less than 10 minutes to get these pretty much cooked all the way through. I let them get cold, and then I just kind of French fried them in a frying pan with some oil. That was it. Fred puts a little bit of salt on his. I don't put any salt on mine. It actually came out really, really well. It's hot enough that they don't soak up the oil, but cool enough that you're not going to make an absolute mess all over the place, except in my case I do, because everything splatters on my stove. Now for the dinner, simple peas and carrots, another can, the meatballs, and the potatoes. Our eating from the pantry and the freezers this week came out great. I was so happy. But I'll put down what I made down below. You guys have a great day.
So like I said, it's not pretty. Definitely not pretty. As you notice, I missed Wednesday completely, and I think I just kind of spit it out as well. And all those little pauses during my voiceover was me trying to read what I wrote down and trying to reword it in a way that made sense. Didn't happen. But to reiterate Wednesday, I bought those pork tenderloins during our shopping trip. I cut them into little discs about that thick. They were about that big around. I'm on my phone and not the GoPro, so my line of vision is completely in the wrong spot. Anyway, what I did is I pounded them flat. I put them in a little bit of milk, a little bit of flour, then a little bit of milk, and then I put them in some breadcrumbs, and then I just fried them. We put them on buns. We had some veggies. It was easy. So anyway, everybody, that was my week 1 of pantry eating. Like I said, we're not doing a pantry challenge. If I run out of something, I'm going to go get it. If I'm in a serious craving for like fresh veggies and a good salad, I'm going to go get it. But yeah, I'll show you the update later on. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you next time as we continue our simpler life here on PEI. Bye for now.